Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Three Intersections. I'm Asia,
I'm Lindsay.
Namira.
and you're here to watch yet another episode of Where Our Worlds Collide. And we just want to thank everyone who viewed our first episode. This week, we'll focus on romantic relationships. Yay. Because who doesn't love those? And we just want to express our appreciation for everyone who listened and those of the viewers who kind of like sent us stories and messages. And we will get to them as the episodes progress, and we will address one today. And so we're excited to have this story for you. Do you guys have anything to say?
No, I'm just really excited to get into it. Again, reiterating what Asia just said. Thank you guys so much for engaging with us. We are sure to keep you guys very connected with whatever we're putting out. So thank you for being on this journey with us. Stay tuned.
So without further ado, let's get into the story. So this is from Anonymous. Do you guys want to give her a name?
Let's call her Julie, okay?
Julie. Oh,
We love you guys, Julies. We love the Julies that are listening.
Okay, so we got an anonymous story from Julie. And Julie said, this situation involved my ex-boyfriend, and she named the ex-boyfriend Alex, who is good friends with this guy who she named Paul. I met these guys on separate occasions, but then the three of us turned into really good friends. Yay. Eventually, I started dating Alex. He and I were together for about 7 months before I found out he cheated.
boo.
Ooh,
Boo.
ooh.
Of course Alex cheated. Of course.
Oh.
Of course it's an Alex.
Right.
Basically, what happened is that he, Paul, another friend, and a girl were hanging out. And after Paul and friend left, my ex made out with the girl. I went no contact.
Disgusting.
I went no contact and completely cut him out of my life. A week after I found out this happened, I called Paul and asked him if he knew that my ex cheated on me that night. He was definitely shocked when I asked, and his response was that he knew something happened, but he didn't think it was his place to tell me. I asked him, aren't we friends? And his response was yes, but Alex is my friend too. I obviously felt betrayed and angry, but I wasn't sure what to think about the question. Was it his place to tell me? Boys will always have their boys back, sure, but I considered him a really close friend, and our friendship was pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't sure what to think, I forgave him. Our friendship continued and is still there right now, but some more stuff went down. He recently confessed that not only has he cut Alex off as a friend, but he also has feelings for me and wants a relationship with me. I told him I don't feel the same way. I love our friendship, and also I have not forgotten that he kept Alex's cheating from me. He apologized again for not telling me, but again, said he wasn't sure if it was his place to do so. So Julie has left us some questions, but I think if you guys just want to break down your thoughts before we get into that, that would be great.
That was definitely a loaded story. I feel like, wow. First of all, Julie, I'm sorry that you had to experience that because, that sounds terrible. Wow.
Yeah, no, that sucks, Julie. They can go in the trash, honestly.
Right. I was trying to avoid the whole,
Put them in the trash.
Man, trash.
No, it's fine.
But
there's new
I guess we could start with Alex. First of all, Alex, really, like, I don't know. I feel like this is why I think boundaries are so important, because why would you be hanging out? Okay, now let me be careful because some people are gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm not saying that you can't hang out with someone like a girl if your girlfriend's not there. But once the two people left, why did you remain there? Like, don't put yourself in a situation where you can cross a line if you know, like, I feel like that's unnecessary. Why were you alone with that girlfriend?
The first question is, okay. I feel like
that's assuming the best
point
intention.
is that it's a flaw with him that he can't be left alone with a girl without him doing something that's crossing a line. Like, I don't know if it's specifically like girls and guys can't be alone if you're in a relationship. It's more so, why are you so immature to the fact that you can't respect your girlfriend when she's not around?
No, I agree. I totally agree. And I guess I'm not really trying to say that girls and guys can't be alone if they're in a relationship. I think what I want to emphasize is like having those type of boundaries. Because like, I mean, some people might be able to exhibit self-control, and I think that it's definitely doable. People can definitely be alone with another girl if they're in a relationship and not cheat on their girlfriend. Like that's so doable. But I think what I'm saying, it's like it's the principle, like I don't think you should put yourself in a situation where you're alone with another girl. Like, I don't know, maybe that's unrealistic where it's like, oh, you can't be alone with another girl. But I feel like who was that girl? That girl, like I don't know. I mean you're right. It's not really like, let's not focus on what's unimportant. The fact of the matter is Alex is the one who,
I think that if
was flawed in that sense, but
I feel like it just shows that that was his intention all along. Like he probably went to that party with the intention of hooking up with someone in the end.
That's what I'm saying.
And so it makes you wonder how long he's been doing this, how often he's been doing this, if he meant anything or was sincere with anything, especially if he's not the one that told her that it happened. And you can probably assume that it's happened before. And so is it a flaw with him being a guy that was left alone with a girl, or is it just a flaw of the character? So
no,
I think you have
that's
to be
so
careful
valid.
with that, because it's like there's so many people that, have fun together of the opposite sex with random people of the opposite sex and know when enough is enough, or like know how to control themselves. Like if you initiated that, then it's obvious that that was what you were intending to do. And so I think it's a character flaw with him, like an immaturity with Alex. And honestly, Alex was a waste. I mean, Alex,
Julie,
in the trash.
Yeah,
I agree on that. That's a very valid point, actually. And now I'm like really like kind of even like having to do some introspection, because the fact that that's where I first went, I'm so with you after hearing that. Like I didn't even, not that I didn't consider Alex's like fault, but it's just like that the fact that my mind went there first. That's interesting. That's a really good point. I totally agree that like it's speaking more about Alex's character rather than like the situation of whether guys and girls like need, like what type of boundaries. I mean, I still do think that boundaries are necessary in relationships, but this is probably not the best scenario to like talk about boundaries. I think it's more about Alex is trash. Okay,
Right.
Alex is trash.
And I think this sort of situation is kind of what like makes relationships devoid of its trust, because it's like you hear so many times where like people are making kind of stupid decisions, or are using, I don't know, quick emotional responses to guide their decisions. And like this is why people are genuinely like concerned when their partner has a friend of the opposite sex, which is something that we discussed in last episode, but it's coming back up here where it's like, why is that an issue? Like why are people so easily easily swayed towards doing something that will harm their relationship? So
I mean, I think that can be for a lot of reasons, though.
I think it can be for a lot of reasons. I think what I've heard about cheating, and like that I've taken to like understand it a bit more, is that like cheating isn't really the act of someone who actually loves you. Because when you think about like all the things that come with a person who cheats on a person, like that's like breaking that trust. And like you mentioned, it wasn't him who told her, or like she didn't find out through him. She found out on her own. So like imagine all the questioning and like double thinking and all that stuff that she had to go through, and like doubting of her own intuition possibly, to figuring out that this guy did it to her. I mean, this guy cheated on her. And so if you know that you can put through, huh?
I said the manipulation.
The manipulation, and like just knowing that you can put someone through such a position. It obviously isn't like the act of someone who loves you. And like it's obviously also not about like, well, it is a self-control thing, but I wanted to go back to that in the beginning because you did recant it, and I was like totally against it too, because I was like, it doesn't make sense to say that, like, why would he even put himself in this situation to do that? Because I also think, yeah, guys and girls can, men and women can have relationships with one another and be friends with one another, and it doesn't have to devolve into some weird sexual thing. And it's like, I don't know what I said. I said something like it's assuming like the best intention because it doesn't really give him or grant him that like agency in that moment. Like, oh, he put himself in the position to cheat. And it's like, no, he went out of his way to go and cheat. The position itself that he was in did not lend itself to him cheating. He himself and his mindset on his own accord decided to go and cheat. Seeing people fall into that where they're like, if you know that you're a person, the type of person to act on like bare intuition, because you're an asshole.
I mean, like, I definitely agree with what you guys are saying, like 100%. But I also think like putting yourself in a situation isn't necessarily or like 100% taking away some type of like accountability factor because like for example like I mean in a different type of well even in this scenario like when you get to a point where you can like get to the point of like kissing another girl when you're in a relationship, I feel like there's certain steps that kind of like lead to that. Like it's not just like, you're sitting and like playing a video game or something, and then all of a sudden you guys are like making out or whatever. But I feel like I'm saying like in a situation where you allowed, not like allowed, like, yes, I think he needs to be 100% accountable for what he did. And I think by saying how to like putting himself in that situation was also wrong is also like urging him to also hold himself accountable because not that guys and girls cannot like control themselves around each other, like it's impossible to have um a girl like friend as a guy, but saying that like in that moment where it led to that, you had to like you can't you like when I feel like when you get to a point when you're gonna kiss somebody, like there's things, feelings, like there's an atmosphere that is like leading up to that. You know what I mean? Unless like somebody just kind of, I don't know. But basically, what I'm saying is like if he couldn't tell that that situation was, if he couldn't tell that that situation was like escalating to that point, then he definitely like, there was an intention in him like staying in that, atmosphere with that other girlfriend and allowing it to get to that point. So yes, I do agree that like it needs to we need to like emphasize that this was a choice that he made based on his character. It's not to say that the problem here is the fact that he was in a room with another girl, but I am just saying that I think what I'm saying was actually speaking to his character, and like him putting himself in that situation. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm going kind of back and forth because I'm agreeing with 100% with what you guys are saying, but I guess I'm also just saying like I think that I don't know. In some
No, I get what you're
situations,
saying. I
the
think,
situation is also kind of it can be both. I feel like is what I'm trying to
yeah,
say.
no.
And I'd also like to add that like I feel like guys and girls most definitely can be friends. And if they are, even if they are, in relationships with other people, I think it's doable. But I do think that boundaries should be necessary. I mean, like, should be in place because it's more of like just to ensure that your partner is being respected. You know what I mean? Like, not to do things that you would feel disrespected if they were done to you. And it really also just depends on the relationship. You know what I mean? Like, certain people might have certain different feelings like about certain situations. So, if you have a partner that doesn't really appreciate it when you are, hanging out with other girls at someone's house after 10 p.m., that's something that you guys need to discuss in your relationship. You can if you would like discuss why she might feel that way. You can also discuss like, okay, then if that's the case, like I feel like everything should kind of be a compromise, you know what I mean? Like I personally don't think that I think that some situations aren't like necessary per se, just like out of respect. Like I'm just thinking like making sure that you're treating your partner in your relationship with care, like just considering like if this would make me feel this way, then I'm not going to do this to them because I know that, or like even if it's just something that might make them feel uncomfortable, not because they don't trust you, just because it's like, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't always have to like boil down to like, I don't trust you. I don't think that you're like some type of, you're like primitive and you're just gonna like act on your like, I don't know, like repressed desires or something. It's not, I don't think it has to be that extreme. I just think it's just like a boundary is kind of like for respect, and even if not, and even if not for respect, just for like care.
I think I understand what you're saying, especially because like after you took some time even more to like explain it in a way, it got me thinking. And I do agree with you. Like it's not an either or situation. It's like both of them coming together because he did choose to stay in that situation. And like he chose like going into it, what else did he think was going to happen? And like
Right.
there's possibilities that he might have thought there's something else was gonna happen or that nothing at all was gonna come out of it. But if you're staying at a party after all of your friends have left, you're like eliminating the ideas of or the choices of what can possibly happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm also curious about who this other like friend was, because what type of relationship did like they have? Like even though that's not necessarily a point of focus, it doesn't need to be a point of focus. I'm just kind of like curious about like if she was like a new friend, like you continuing to like stay after the rest of you guys, your friends, like I don't know. I mean, this is like, I think we should like continue on with the story and get back to this, but I feel like, you know, there's more that I could possibly say, but I had to think about it more. So the next part of the story was
So after she cuts out Alex in her life, which good choice. Good job. Proud of you.
mhm.
A week after she finds out, she calls Paul and asks him if he knew what happened. And he's like shocked. Okay, so this looks funny for me because like he was definitely shocked when I asked. So I'm like, he's not shocked about the situation with
But
Alex
like
cheating.
shocked that you found out.
Yeah,
It's like,
so
how did
that's
you know? Like, kind of thing.
yeah, that's the funny part for me. And his response was that he knew something happened. He didn't think it was his place to tell me. Hold on.
And
Or
then
like
I think that that's interesting too, because he didn't like she said that Paul and friend left and then the ex made out with the girl. So that means he didn't witness it. But that means that Alex must have told him. So it's like I feel like that part of the story is another added layer. It's like it's not like he witnessed it and like Alex didn't realize, or he like intentionally told Paul, or that's what I'm getting from it, that he intentionally told Paul about it, and then Paul had the decision to like confront him like on the spot. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Like
yeah,
Mm.
no.
he
Makes
left,
sense.
so that means that there had to have been some kind of conversation about it. So it's like you're in that moment where you're facing someone who just told you that they cheated on your friend. And it's like, why not at that moment didn't you confront your friend Alex? Why didn't you confront Alex and be like, hey, like you cheating on Julie is wrong? Or like being like, I'm gonna tell Julie if you don't fix this, or if you don't tell her. Like
Mhm.
there was like a like intentional choice that Paul made to keep you out of that loop, even though he
Yeah,
had opportunities, it seems, to tell you and to like let you know and give you a heads up.
I agree. Like it's a choice as much to keep Alex a secret as much as it is not to tell um Julie what happened. Because I feel like a lot of people going into cheating situations or like finding out about like a person, like a couple cheating or whatever, they're always like, well, I don't want to get involved. And it's like you're already involved because you already know what happened. And then like you choosing not to do anything is already making a choice on like behalf of one party. And I've
Mhm.
always been like, it's always like struck me when people are like, oh yeah, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to do anything. And I can see why, because like there are so many really horrendous situations where like you tell someone what you've seen or what you know, and then like the other party just doesn't believe you or feels like you're intentionally trying to break them up. But it's also like, I don't think this is the kind of situation that is. And like, if you're all close friends, why would you want to just let your other friend be hurt while your other friend is going around doing nonsense and being stupid?
And
I don't
and
understand that.
I think like kind of I guess going off of what you guys both said, one thing that is really interesting about Paul's behavior is in his like saying, like I could probably like to start understand when he says it's not my place, it wasn't my place. Because if let's say he gave Alex like, okay, you told me this was wrong. You need to tell Julie, like you should tell her, like you need to tell her today. Right. And so like he's giving, let's say he gave Alex like a time frame to tell Julie, or else he will take it upon himself to tell Julie. Like I feel like that maybe could have been a good resolve for him to have, because I do agree that like if Alex is going to be confident or bold enough to make that type of choice that's going to affect his relationship, then he should also be confident enough, because like he was confident enough to make that decision. He should be confident enough to say that that's what he did. You know, if you can do it, you should be able to say that you did it. And so that's another like point off of Alex for not even being able to like say it, because how can you cheat, like go as far as cheating but then not? Anyways, that's like another thing. But in Paul's sense, when he says it's not my place, like I can understand, because it's like Alex should own up to it and take responsibility for his actions.
Julie said something like, boys will always have their boys' back, sure, but I consider him a really close friend. And it's like, you shouldn't ever consider yourself to be like second fiddle. And I think she's saying right there that like she doesn't want to be considered second in a
Mhm.
friendship where like two guys are also friends. And that's
Mhm.
so, I mean, I think that's justified. And I don't think you should owe like loyalty, especially in a friend group where all three of you guys are close. And like
Mhm.
she's literally said that she met them both on separate occasions. So they all came together and became friends. So it's like, what loyalties do you owe Alex that you don't owe to Julie? And when Alex is the one who's done the wrong, why do you continue to give him loyalty and then like completely ignore what Julie's feelings, emotions might be in that situation?
And I feel like building off of like the idea of like the type of loyalty that guys have with each other, I think sometimes it can be kind of for lack of a better word, like troublesome, because sometimes it depends on the type of friendship and the type of guy. But like in this case, I feel like it doesn't hold you to a higher standard. Like if the loyalty that you have, if Paul, the loyalty that you have with Alex is to not tell that he cheated, to not tell his girl that he cheated, like if that's what loyalty means to you, then I feel like it's, I don't know, kind of like strange, because as Alex's friend, I could recognize that that behavior is wrong and probably not conducive to like a healthy lifestyle of like being like a man with integrity, you know what I mean? And so I feel like I would be doing him a disservice as well as doing Julie a disservice to like just like stay kind of like neutral. It's not even neutral, because it's like you're on Alex's side. It's like you're prioritizing.
There's no neutral choice in this. Like you
There's
can't
not
be
that, yeah, that wasn't
neutral.
neutral. Like he was like, it's not my place. And I feel like in his mind, he was like trying to be neutral, like, oh, I'm gonna keep my hands clean. Like that's y'all's business, you know what I mean? But once you know, you're in it. You can't not be in it. Like you're in it
Right.
because you know now. Like so that's like you also now have like you also know something. You have a responsibility. What are you gonna do with that knowledge? You know what I mean?
I think
Um,
like it's interesting too because when she asked like, "Aren't we friends?" he sort of responded and said, "Yes, but Alex is my friend too." And it's like
That
that's supposed to make it seem like I didn't want to interfere because y'all are both my friends. But in that moment, you're choosing one friend over another. So
mm-hmm,
when
exactly.
it's not you intentionally meant to do that, or you thought you're being neutral, like you guys said, you made a
mm-hmm,
choice to harm one person and benefit the other. So at the end of the day, that you chose which friend that you want to stick with. And by telling someone that, oh, I cut this person off, that doesn't matter anymore because you made your decision long ago. You might as well stayed with him. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like Paul might as well have stayed with Alex because at the end of the day, you made your decision, and the trust that you have to rebuild now is massive because you decided to make a decision to neglect one friend for the benefit of another.
I'm wondering, I know we both said it all, we've said a lot about this. I'm like wondering if we're missing a perspective or if there's something I'm like not seeing maybe like a guy's perspective in this. I truly don't think I'm missing anything, but you know, that could just be oversight on my behalf and on my part. Like I can't see all angles of this and I can't justify all.
Maybe we can
But, like,
ask our male listeners to drop
that's what I'm trying
a
to do.
situation in which you would drop a situation in which you would tell your friend, like let's say you're the Paul in the situation, what situations would you tell or would you like hide this from Julie? Like if we have any male listeners, let us know.
Because I mean, I agree with you, Amir. I don't think that we're missing a perspective. I mean, like we definitely are because we're all women, but like
I mean, I feel like we're doing a very good job.
I think we're doing a good job, like of trying to have this dualistic type of thinking, but honestly, I feel like this is kind of one way. Not really one way, but I don't know.
Like, how charitable do you want me to be to Alex? Oh my God, Alex, he just was like, wasn't thinking.
Right.
Like, Alex went into it, like, he feels so bad. That's why, it was his guilt. That's why he didn't say anything to Julie. It was his guilt. No.
But I mean,
what else could I say?
I could also understand, like, this is the piece of the story that we might be missing is, like, Paul's perspective. So, like, I could understand maybe if Paul not understand, but like if Paul had talked to Alex, like confronted him, like Alex, like, yo, the heck, man, like that's not cool. You need to tell her that.
The heck, man.
But like even if he had that conversation, like, well, I think another piece might be missing. Like, I don't know how she ended up finding out because she found out. So like, does that mean that Alex eventually told her?
Let's not speculate on things we don't know because then we just start creating like another
story. I know, but I think like, well, no, because I was gonna say like, oh, if Paul confronted Alex and then gave him a like, you need to tell Julie.
Mentioned that when she asked, "Aren't we friends?" Like that would have been the moment to say, "Well, yeah, I went to him and said and like gave him an ultimatum," but he didn't say that. He just said that.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that just implies that he didn't have intention to tell her or to back her up.
I don't understand that at all. But...
As we move on into so she decided to remain friends with Paul, like forgive him, and their friendship continued. So then we get to the part where he confessed that he cuts Alex off, and then he confesses feelings for Julie. It says that he wants a relationship. So how do we feel about that? How do we feel about a relationship that is starting to build this trust back, and then you throw the fact that you want a relationship with me when you thought my ex cheating on me was not worthy of telling me? So how do you feel about that? Like, how can I trust you in a relationship if you think cheating is not something you need to share?
Oh my gosh, this is like building so many follow-up questions in my head that I like want to like ask first, but I feel like no, because that's going to go on like a long tangent. But okay, so you said, for example, Asia, you said a relationship that's like building this trust back up. So now it's making me think like, oh, like, are they building this trust back up? How long was it after this happened? And like, how long did the friendship progress? After this situation happened, before he like cut off Alex and confessed his feelings. I don't know. Because honestly, it depends. Like, I don't know what type of conversation they had about the situation. Personally, I feel like I would definitely clock something like that, because how can I say that you have my best interest at heart if you had no intention of telling me something so pivotal like that? I don't know. Like, I just feel like I don't know how like I would really move after that.
Also, Julie isn't even really feeling a relationship or a romantic relationship between him and her anyways. So like
Mm-hmm.
take out the history of her and and of Paul not even telling her about the whole situation. She said she loved their friendship. She doesn't really want to, pursue a romantic relationship. So regardless, that romantic relationship is not going to happen. It's just that like, why would he think that it was even like
Possible.
possible if he like I don't know. How
I
many?
feel for me that would alter the friendship because I would just get to
Yeah,
the point where it's like, do you even care about what you did to me? And why do you think you would have the opportunity to be in a relationship with me when you obviously don't value foundational parts of relationships like honesty, like communication?
Right. Honesty, trust,
Um,
integrity, like
exactly. Like, and if cheating doesn't phase you, how do I know that you're not someone who would cheat on me and not tell me? So
exactly.
I think that for me, as a friend of Paul's, I would sort of be skeptical of him at some point because I'm just like, are you trying to gain my trust back because you care about me as a friend, or is it because you want to be with me in a more serious, like, you know what I mean? I would just question a lot of things that have happened in our friendship.
and
Like,
I
if you
want
wanted to be with me, why didn't you tell me that Alex cheated on me? You know, like, it's just certain things that I feel like I would be going off in my head that would make me sort of like question the entirety of the friendship.
I wanted to give like Paul the benefit of the doubt because maybe like some time has passed and he's able to like reflect a bit on it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the paragraph or at the end of that section, he says he apologizes again for not telling me, which is, that's the bare thing he can do, the bare minimum thing he can do. But again, he said he wasn't sure if it was his place to do so, and he's just like going back again to that, like,
Like,
apologize and just like stick to it because it's not even gonna like you saying that you weren't sure is not gonna change the fact that you just didn't do it.
there's like absolutely no character development at all. Like, Paul, you better.
That's funny. It
But
definitely doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like Paul really if he still has that mentality, then I feel like he hasn't like changed his perspective, which is not definitely not character
but
development.
again, Julie is still friends with Paul. So maybe there is like another aspect of their relationship that their friendship that we're not seeing. And there's a reason why she's always maintained this friendship because it's like very valuable to her. And like she says that she loves their friendship. So
Mm.
obviously, like I feel like there is some way that he's probably made up for it in their like real life relationship that we're just not seeing. And maybe there has been growth, and maybe we're reading into this last part a bit too much.
Yeah, I mean there
I don't
definitely
know.
could be more
I'm
like
trying to be
contextual.
spiritual.
There definitely could be more contextual information, but also like I would also urge Julie to really deep and like consider why she forgave Paul because she did say she wasn't sure what to think and because of that she forgave Paul. So
Mhm.
like I really would like, kind of urge her to think on the situation because if it's in a way where Paul after that situation things were kind of just like I don't know ambiguous but like or if like Paul is like showing like different type of development which is why their relationship was able to be maintained then maybe it's just kind of like a he's changing but I don't know because she said that she still keeps like the whole keeping the thing from Alex I mean keeping the Alex cheating from him like in the back of her mind so maybe like it wasn't a fully like resolved situation so maybe there I don't know like I really have to know where Julie's like head's at and where her heart posture is but also I'd have to know like I don't know I feel like I'd have to like see how Paul is kind of changed but yeah that's just my take on the last section I don't know.
So Julie left us some questions. I think we answered her first question, which was, as my friend, was it Paul's place to tell Julie that Alex cheated? I think we
Absolutely.
kind of went over that. It was like, as a friend, by choosing one over the other, you're harming one, benefiting the other. So I think we went through that. The second question I think we can dive more into is, Julie asked, what should I do now that he told me how he felt? Should I distance myself, keep acting as normal? What would you do in my shoes? So I guess like we've kind of come to the conclusion that it kind of depends on like certain specifics, but based on what we have here, like what would you tell Julie to do?
Honestly, Paul kind of has stated like where he's at. So, you know, he has feelings for Julie. I think that if they were to maintain their friendship, those feelings wouldn't go away because those feelings develop throughout that relationship, throughout that friendship, right? So it's like knowing where his heart is at and knowing that yours isn't there, I feel like it could be kind of like put some tension on the relationship because now you might be thinking like, oh, like you know how he feels now. So now it's like you might start looking into some things. Also, as someone who has feelings for you, the position of being in like an unrequited love can be hard and hurtful. And then also for you, you might now question the friendship because now you know like, oh, his intent not intentions like it's bad, but like his intentions or like where his heart's at. So it's like now it's like is it even a friendship in his mind because it's like he's you know what I mean? Like I feel like I've heard things where it's like this, where it's like the guy, not the guy, but just someone ends up having feelings, and that kind of like makes the friendship kind of weird in a way because now it's like things that we would do as friends. Like let's say we were chilling on our bed and talking or something, but now it's like he likes me, so I don't know, like maybe he's reading, like you know what I mean? Things that were friendly now can be perceived the wrong way because now there's this different lens, like it's a romantic lens on it. So now it's not just friendship. Now it's like a I like you. I'm chilling on the bed with her, or like we're watching Netflix together. Like this is something. It just makes things like get kind of blurry. I feel like so. I feel like it might be kind of tricky to maintain the friendship in the same way. As for what you should do in the sense of like distancing yourself or acting as normal, I don't know if it can be normal, like per se, but I don't know what you should do. I don't know if you should like distance yourself or what, because if you're distancing yourself, does that just mean that you're going to distance yourself to a point of like no return, like as in you're going to stop the friendship, or does that mean you're going to distance yourself until he what, like moves on and loses feelings for you? Like I don't know what that would result in, or so what do y'all think?
I agree in the sense that like now that he's told you that he likes you, and especially like considering what you told him about how like you were so uncomfortable, it will alter the friendship. In like what Lindsay said, like now certain things might seem awkward or that kind of thing. But I'm also thinking about like whatever you do, I think you need to preface it with a conversation, because I think that if you just cut him off, he might think it's just because he's confessed his feelings for you. When in actuality, it might be more so because of the betrayal, in the sense that happened when with the Alex situation. And so I think having that conversation or like discussing whatever you choose to do would be important, so that he knows it's not because like other feelings, it's because of my actions. Like my actions messed up our friendship. So he doesn't think it's you not wanting him messing it up. Like I don't want it to be something that he can blame you for the fall of a friendship. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think in this situation, I don't think there's any way for you to continue acting as normal. I think that the friendship has been altered because he told you that he liked you, and you've told him that you're still
Mm-hmm.
something that happened a while back. So if that something from a while back is still affecting you, and you guys still haven't been able to have a conversation that has helped you resolve that feeling, then it's obvious that like there wasn't much, I guess. I mean, I'm sort of making this assumption because he still has the same explanation and you still feel the same way about the way he treated you. So I feel like it's obvious that there wasn't much closure that you got from that situation on Paul's behalf. And so I don't think it can continue from normal now that he knows that you're still hurt by that situation. So I think either you guys need to have like a sit down conversation to acknowledge that it's not like that you need, I don't know, that you need I don't know if there's more to understand. Like, I just don't know if you need space for the time being so you can kind of come to senses, like with what happened, and sort of take the time you needed that you probably didn't take because you forgave him. And so I don't know. I feel like I would take some space from the friendship before making a decision. And when I do
Yeah.
make a decision, I would kind of like make sure to have a conversation with Paul so that he knows why you made the decision and doesn't think that it's emotional reaction to him confessing his feelings for you.
Yeah. And I guess just to add on to that, just kind of like I'm really just emphasizing, honestly, just really taking time to like really reflect on where your heart's at, because I think in situations like this, like if people don't really take time to kind of process everything that's happened or really like understand what they're feeling, then it can just be easy to like go through the motions kind of like on autopilot without actually like registering and clocking what you're actually feeling, especially if from that situation with Alex at first, you weren't even like fully aware of like why you forgave him. Because, I've like been in a situation where I've said I've forgiven someone before and somebody asked me why. And I was like, well, because it was just like burdensome and the feelings weren't serving me anymore. So I was ready to let them go. But then I realized that I still have feelings attached to that situation or that person. So then it's like, how can I say I've truly forgiven them when this thing is still in the back of my mind? It's still like, coming up from time to time. So then you really have to ask yourself, like, why did you forgive him? Or if you really even have forgiven him, if you really were ready. Like sometimes we just do things because I don't know, like there's other factors, external factors that make us feel like we have to do it before we're actually ready. So really taking time to just kind of understand like where you're at emotionally with yourself and like in relation to this person before you can properly like understand your next move. But also, like Asia was saying, it's really important to also be communicating with this person throughout the process, so that there doesn't have to be like any like confusion or like being left guessing, like, oh hey, I need to take time apart because I need to understand X, Y, and Z, or because I need to process this. You know what I mean? Just like making sure that you guys are on the same page.
Do you have anything else to add, Mira?
No, I like kind of summed everything you guys are saying, making sure you guys have a conversation and truly like reflecting on how you feel in this situation and what you would like if this friendship were to progress. And making sure you communicate that with Paul. Like if he actually sees this relationship moving past him, like if that's if he has feelings for you, and especially if it's not gonna go in the way that he wants it to, I feel like you have every right, or Julie has every right to disclose or not disclose what she wants. And it should always come from a place of what's most comfortable for her and what's most honest for her and what she wants to tell Paul. Because out of this, if the ooh, if the friendship ends and like Paul believes that the reason why it ended was because I don't know. He came out and confessed to her that he feels that he has feelings for her, and that's how he feels like and that's why he feels like the friendship ended. Not saying that it has to end. Um, that doesn't mean anything really. That shouldn't mean anything to Julie because that's what he took away from the situation. That's what he took away from friendship. But that's only like the worst possible situation. This scenario is like, or maybe like that's one of the most drastic aspects of this scenario. It's like they end up stop being friends, honestly. Like this, I feel like this friendship could work out, and it's just a matter of communicating. Like so many other things are a matter of just communicating and making sure that like you're being heard and um actions are being reflected or like actions are being made to reflect what's been said. Conversation, discussion. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Julie, for submitting that to us. We hope that we were able to provide you with some advice. or insight into the story on how you should continue. So I think the way that we can end this episode is with rapid fire answers based on some questions that we received from a viewer. So try to limit your answer to like one word or one sentence. And
okay.
it's something that if we want to explore in later episodes, we can, or if we get viewers that want us to explain more, we can. So
That sounds
question,
fun.
first question, what are some boundaries or topics, or like what is one boundary or topic that you that has been hard to bring up or is taboo with people you have romantic relationships with?
I feel like sometimes it can be difficult to have conversation about insecurities. Yeah.
Jealousy, example, like what makes you jealous? I feel like people are really scared to broach that topic because they don't want to seem like a jealous person. But like jealousy is jealousy or envy is just a very natural human reaction or emotion. And I feel like if you try to like hide behind it or like hide and like try to rationalize it or like intellectualize, I feel like that's a big thing that people do now, where they try to like, they don't like something, and instead of just saying they don't like it for like the reason that they don't like it, or like, oh, it's just not something that I'm into, they try to like make it seem like it's a bigger, smarter reason than it actually is. Like, I don't like it because I can't give an example off the top of my head, but I think you guys understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like admitting that you were jealous about about something, and then like doing the work, like reflecting on why you might be jealous on it. Is it okay like that you're jealous about it? And like, expressing that to your partner sometimes might be very helpful. I think this is a really good practice to take into like different relationships. It might be like something and I think that's why it's so hard, because people are like, well, you have no reason to be jealous, but it's like emotions aren't always the most rational.
Tell it to him.
Oh my God, please. You make me sound
Okay.
Yes.
I think our next question will be, what's your biggest turn on or turn off?
Physical or non-physical?
I think it could be either.
Let's answer for both. We can give one for both.
I was gonna give one for
let's answer for both. It's funny. I would say physically, like one thing, just like one, there's a lot, obviously, but one thing I would say is a really nice smile. Like just somebody who smiles with their whole face. Like it's
wow, thank you so much.
No, literally, Amira, I was like, and then non-physical, someone that is like, oh, I don't know how to say it, because like I feel like it comes with a combination of physical sometimes. Like I was gonna say someone with like someone that just dominates me, like someone that just I've said this so many times, I literally don't know how to describe it, but someone that just is like
PG-13.
Someone that's
there are children watching this podcast.
All right, okay, let me say another. You know that one scene from what's that one show? It was like, I think it was like Different World or something like that, where he was like, "Let's go." Like, you know that scene? Like that's such a popular scene or something.
Like dominant.
Dominant. Like someone who can dominate me, but like in a way where it's not like how men can be. You know how like men can be kind of like, like don't tell me what to do. Like I feel like the right type of man can lead you in a way where you're willing to submit. That might sound, some of y'all might not like that, but that, like, you know how, okay, another thing is like someone whose masculinity allows your femininity to like come out and be comfortable and like thrive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe you don't know what I mean, but I'm gonna end it there.
I think I understand. I think that last point was what really allowed me to see your point.
What really sold it?
Yeah, because at one point I was like, "What are you saying?"
Like, I don't want to explain because it's supposed to be
No.
rapid. You know what I
That's
mean?
the point. I was wondering why we were like, I was like, Lindsay, say your point, and like we got it. I'm like, you can let the
True,
viewer
my
figure.
fault. Okay.
No. I'm saying like let the viewer figure it out. Like if they're confused,
No, right.
we
Like
come back
someone
later
who can
on and we're like,
dominate me.
actually, we did
Period.
not mean
Full
it.
stop. Someone who can dominate me. Full stop. Amira, go ahead.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Asia, it's your turn. On my
Asia, make sure
screen,
you answer
you're
this
there
question.
in the middle. So
Make sure you
technically,
answer
Asia,
this
you're the
question.
middle.
No,
one.
Asia, you are in the middle for me too.
Asia is she's in the middle for you too. You're
Yes.
second on two people's screens, Asia. That means that you
Yeah,
go
Asia,
next.
you go next.
Wait, can you actually go? Because I don't even know.
Why do you think I'm bullshitting so hard? I'm trying to get you to go so I can think. So I'm gonna say non-physical turn on. Good banter. Like if I can go back and forth with you and like I don't know, sometimes being clever and just funny, being clever and funny, and I can keep going and talking with you. That's a really good fun turn on, I guess.
True. I'd have to agree.
Good banter.
Okay, then give your turn off.
Okay. Ugly. No. Mean. I think being a mean-spirited person, I really don't like. I mean, that's so vague. I guess I just in general, I really, really don't like people who just make like weird sideways comments about like other people just living their life, especially if it doesn't bother you, it doesn't involve you. It's like you're not in their life, they're not like in their shoes. It really does not
Right.
affect you. You're just going out of your way to make a comment
Just being a hater.
about
Like
being a hater, right? And
haters are
it's like,
bleh.
and it's like you can say your opinion about something and say like, oh, well, I don't prefer it, or it's not something like that. But there's like one way of being like, oh, or like,
Yeah,
ways
like
I can describe it way better in words. You can give me an essay topic, I'll give you pages, but
in words.
in this way, I'm just gonna be like, people are just really, it's just an icky personality to be around.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mean spirited.
I think a turn off for me would be a man that thinks they know everything, like on the basis of them just being a man, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Or like people, or like men that are like, oh, women mansplaining. Oh my gosh, mansplaining is like ick.
Non-physical turn on. I guess someone who can be as passionate as I am in like certain like areas, like people that have like passions that they're able to discuss with me or like teach me about. Someone who like is able to like bring insight to me, and like intellectual curiosity, like being able to bring me some intellectual curiosity. Non-physical turn off. I kind of agree with what you guys have said. Oh, people like that are into like red pill and alpha male TikTok.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Barf.
Oh my god. Oh.
Alpha male. Oof.
Oh
yeah,
my
no.
God.
Oof.
Yeah.
Tomatoes.
Physical turn on.
I've just died. I've just like literally like I've cringed into myself.
It's an immediate cringe.
It's bro.
There's
It's
a
not even an
difference
immediate
between
cringe. It's like a kill. Like my god.
or like men that aren't like like I feel like all of us have masculine and feminine energy and like a balance between the two. Even I feel like everyone has a mix of the two, and being able to step into one or the other is important. And men who don't who think like, oh, I can't cook, that's a girl's job, or like I can't creative, like that's for a woman, like I'm supposed to be like not being able to tap into your feminine energy or like feminine energy is something that's like associated with alpha maleness. And I feel like that is that kind of thinking or rationale is iffy to me. It sort of makes me think
I feel like that thinking is so outdated. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Really? Like, get with the,
that sort of thing. Thinking that you don't have to do something because you're a man and you're trying to be in your masculinity. But I feel like if you're that type of person, you're not really like set in your masculinity. Like you're just perpetuating a stereotype of it. Yeah, and
Those are really good ones.
That was a really good one.
a
Yeah.
physical turn on.
Height. I don't know.
Veins,
Basketball player.
That
big-
means that is dehydrated. Get him a water bottle.
big arms,
Huh?
Get him a water bottle. He needs it.
big man hands.
Dorito body. Dorito shaped body.
What?
Dorito shaped.
You have to have a
Fresh cuts, fresh hairstyles. Like
Oh, okay.
a guy that like has style, I guess. Like
a guy who can dress, kind of.
yeah, can dress, but like I love the casual streetwear, but like a guy that looks good in a suit. Non-physical turn on. Wait, I already
You already
that.
said that one.
Okay, I'm tall, so I would say height.
Oh
I mean, I
yeah,
feel like, yeah, that's a good one.
short king.
I mean, yeah, y'all kings out there, but
I'll say this.
Not mine.
Exactly. People live in different regions and they have different kings and queens. You're a short king to someone else, just not me. Peace and love though. Everybody is for someone, you know what I mean? Which is why I don't think it's wrong to like what you like. Everybody likes something. Everybody dislikes something. It's natural.
Okay, I think one of the last rapid questions that we'll do for this episode.
Is this one gonna be actually rapid, or are we gonna just?
I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay.
I think the question was, what is something that your partner would do that would immediately end the relationship?
Oh, deal breakers, kind of.
Outside of the obvious, like I guess obvious would be like someone committing a crime or someone cheating or someone being abusive. Like what would be yours?
Hygiene. Like, I don't want. Imagine walking around and like you were hanging out with someone and they stink, and like and then like you go outside with this person and now people know you as a person who's dating someone who stinks, and then like they make a nickname or something and they're like, oh, that's Stinky over there hanging out with me. That'd be so awful. That's so like
That's fair. I mean, yeah, that's a good one. I think I would say someone who like consistently laughs, or like it doesn't even have to be like a hearty laugh, just like a chuckle like at me when I'm like being serious and like expressing my emotions. Like that type of like dismissive behavior, or like, oh my gosh, she's so crazy, she's so neurotic type of thing, like absolutely not. Immediate no.
I think for me it would be like maturity. Like I feel like there have been like some friendships that I've been in where I've like we weren't on the same emotional like maturity level, and like it would just irk my soul, and I feel like I couldn't be in a relationship with someone who like is constantly doing childish things or like needs constant like I don't want to feel like a parent in a relationship, you know what I mean? Like someone who like is able to make their own ethical, moral, sound judgments. Yeah, I think if there's someone who can't do that, then yeah. Okay, so you've reached the end of episode 2 of the 3 Intersections. Please let us know what you thought of the episode. Make comments, send us emails. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye. Thank you for listening.